Rob Tebbutt for Boxing News, delighted to be joined by the surgeon, Ben Whittaker. We are here ahead of Wardley versus Clarke, and of course, the return of the man himself. How are you, Ben?
All good, thank you very much. Got my hotel changed, so I can't complain. Beautiful view, and yeah, just enjoying the week.
They didn't have you in the B-side hotel, did they?
They did. But it wasn't me, it was the missus and my dad. They sorted it out. They said, you can't stay here. I said, no, I'll stay here. But as soon as I heard it got changed, I was happy, so.
I was going to say, viral sensation Ben Whittaker in the B-side hotel. What's
They're
going on?
trying to keep me humble, but I thought closer to the venue, I can just walk over there, so it makes sense.
Okay, right, before we get started, got 2 points. Number one, Andy Purewal. It's his birthday today. That's why he's not here, because he's busy having a good old time. Somebody, of course, that you go back a long way with. I'm sure you want to wish him his happy birthday now.
Big happy birthday, mate, and I'll see you soon.
That's one Andy. Right, the other Andy, Andy Clarke. Now, I haven't seen what you said to my good friend Andy Clarke, but I've heard that you weren't very happy with him. Now, why don't you tell me your recollection of events? I'm doing like a counsellor here.
Oh,
you
okay,
see,
something
yeah?
like that. Like you're the middleman. It was just one of those things. It's every time I fight, he's always disrespectful. Ben's disrespectful all the time. And then I've always thought, oh, I'm gonna say something to him. But every time I've seen him, we actually get on well, respectable, talk well. And then my last fight, I did the commentary for Dan Aziz and Boatsi, who was talking fine, getting on well. Beautiful performance, Ben. I said, oh, thank you very much. Then I went back and watched the fight. I said, why don't you just say that to my face? What is he saying it on TV? And then when I had the time to talk to him, I just said, you always say I'm disrespectful. Then he was like, yeah, well, tapping somebody on the head is disrespectful. I said, it's skill. Went back and forth a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's his opinion. But I just got my opinion across.
Okay, well, I will chase down Andy Clarke and get his version of it. Or better yet, you can check him out on the Boxing Show on Monday on Boxing News YouTube channel. Always get the plug in. On that, so Andy, I mean, certainly not going to go to bat for him, I'm not going to get in the way. Andy is one of those, he's a scholar of the sport, so to speak, and somebody who was, and I'm sure you know, has followed your career from the amateurs very, very closely. Do you accept that it's sort of part and parcel of the way that you market yourself, obviously very well, that you're going to get that from people, particularly sort of the status quo, the more established people in the sport?
Yeah, but like I keep trying to touch on, I'm just a normal person. Just because I'm boxing a certain way, they're classing it as disrespectful, but there's people in press conferences talking about people's families, moms, dads, you name it, countries, and they're just classed as legends. But me hopping on one leg and doing actual skillful things that are hard to do is classed as disrespectful, which is a bit of a nuisance. But it will come. Like I said, people all have their own opinion, and I just thought it's my time to just talk on it.
Okay, well, we wait with bated breath for the reply from Andy Clarke. Remember, 5 o'clock on Monday on Boxing News YouTube channel. You can find it all. There we go. As far as press conferences go, you mentioned there people kind of shouting and making scenes. That happened today, didn't it? At a very kind of apt time as well. You were talking about having bounties on your head, and then before you knew it, somebody tried to take that bounty straight away.
I tell you now, boxer, they must have paid this kid to come in or something, because he was perfectly on cue. He was talking about having a price on my head, a bounty, and the bounty must have been the trigger word, because he come out. I said, what's going on here? And it took me for a chance. I thought it was my friend Cole, and I thought he was walking and talking, doing a TikTok or something. Then I said, what's going on here? Then we had a little back and forth. But at the end of the day, the position I'm in is going to happen. There's nothing against the kid. I kind of like it. I've got what he wants. I've got what people want. And what keeps me training hard.
It's 2 of your last 3 fights now, if I'm not mistaken. I was down in Bournemouth as well when Louis Edmondson came over to you with his sunglasses on and stuck it on you there. Yeah, you must be somewhat getting used to it, but I don't imagine it's going to be the last time we see it, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely not. Like I said, 6 fights in and I'm getting this all this happening now. But it's like I said, to me, I take it as a compliment. If they wasn't doing it, I'm obviously doing something right for them to do it. So you just have to take it in your stride, really.
The Caligradia fight. Caligradia, I think if you know your boxing on kind of the circuit, he's a very tough man, sort of been in there and particularly mixed it with some of the guys that we've got over here. Obviously a great performance, but subsequently everything that happened after that. Just, if you can, describe what the last, 2 months have been like of your life since that performance.
I say it hasn't changed, but it has changed, if that makes sense. Like mentally, training, boxing, all that hasn't changed. I'm still the same person. I've said it in previous interviews, but like me and my dad say, I haven't done anything yet. I've not won a world title, not won any title, not beat the names I want to beat. So for me, in that sense, I'm very humble. I know I'm still a baby. I know there's still steps I need to go through. But on the social media platforms, it's gone crazy. Million followers, people you think wouldn't even be in tune to boxing have started following me. So it's amazing, but it doesn't change anything. If anything, it's just made me push harder.
We've spoken in the past about, the fact that your professional career hasn't been as serene as necessarily you would have wanted it. Of course, you had the shoulder injury that you had the hangover from the Olympics. Do you feel like that last fight is kind of, I don't want to say sort of made up for lost time, do you feel like that's kind of pushed you back into more where you want to be?
Yeah, something like that. One thing I do like is now you can see the activity, and with the activity, my performances are just getting better and better. And for me, I'm in a privileged position where you look at the Boatsis, the Yards, the Callum Smiths, they're at that level where the career is slowing down now. The stakes are bigger. The fights are more tougher to get. Where me, I can still stay active and get these fights. So for me, get me out as many times as possible.
Since you turned pro, obviously when you turned pro, a lot of fanfare and a lot of talk about, Aziz in 5 fights, this person and that fight. How far away do you feel that you are from those guys now? Obviously you watch Boatsi versus Dan Aziz, 2 guys that you do know well and watched as well. How far away from that level do you think you are?
Skillful wise, I think I'm one of the best in the division, honestly. I've got the skills, speed, and a certain style that not many light heavyweights can deal with. But I've looked at it now, like I said, I'm 26, most of them are mid-30s. So I say another year, building up and down the country, build my platform, fight different styles, little step-ups, I'll be there ready to go.
How's the body now? Because obviously you turned over, you had the injury, and professional boxing is very, very difficult. The camps are very intense. Do you feel like your body's adapted to that now? Do you feel like you've kind of settled into more of the pro style of particularly training?
Yeah, if anything, I'm happy that the team I've got around me now. My brother's my strength and conditioning coach now. I've got Joe, being my dad, and a small little team around me. And if anything, they just tell me to calm down, which is a good thing. I'm a person that loves to push the boundary, loves to go hard all the time in the gym, but sometimes that's your worst thing. That's how I pick up these silly niggles. So for me, I've just been listening to them, train when I'm supposed to train, rest when I'm supposed to train, and cut the cookie dough and stuff out, and I'm doing well.
I might have to take that on board myself, actually. No Sugar Hill. What's the situation with Sugar Hill and with regards to your training team?
Yeah, so we still stay in touch, still talk and whatnot, but he's been back and forth with Tyson. He's been to Detroit, been here, there and everywhere. And for me, I just didn't want to keep travelling around. I need to learn. I need to focus on my own career. So what I've been doing is just based in UK. I've been paying for sparring partners to come over, and I just cut everything off really, just really focused on my boxing, and going back and forth, travelling everywhere with him and Tyson is not working right now. So something to think about, but we still talk and everything.
Is obviously, I know you've known Joby for many, many years, and I think you've said to me in an interview previously, he'll always be part of your training team. Are you looking, I don't want to sort of put this as an advertisement, but are you looking for a new full-time trainer? Is that something that you want to look at after this fight?
Yeah, maybe so. I'm a person that always wants to learn. I know that not the finished article. I know there's so much more I can learn, so much more I can gain, and just neating up on things, and that's what we want to bring in, like I said, Joby sees things from his angle. It'd be good to maybe get a new, fresh eyes from a different angle. And maybe that's what we'll do after this fight. Go gym to gym and just see what happens.
How much do you know about Leon Willings?
I know he's young, hungry, coming to fight, just won a title. So he's got that winning feeling, but I just believe I'll be a step ahead of him.
I, in a previous life, used to watch football here and there, not so much anymore, but people always used to say about, because I'm a bit older than you, that when I was growing up, people playing Man United, it was their FA Cup final, it was this, that. Do you feel that now in your professional career? Obviously, particularly after events of recently, someone like Leon Willings, with respect to him, may not get to box for a world title, but he does have the opportunity on Sunday to beat Ben Whittaker.
Of course, and that's what my dad keeps drilling into me. He said, look, don't take this kid lightly. You can beat him, but if you go in there lackadaisical, you make it harder than needs be. So for me, I'm treating it just like him. It's my opportunity again to perform, my opportunity again to put on a performance. And at the end of the day, I treat each fight like a world title as well, because if you don't, sadly, the performances won't be there. People start humming and hawing about you, then you start getting forgotten about. So for me, I just got to go in there professional and get the business done.
Considering the reaction to the Gradier fight with everything that came with it, do you look at this fight and go, yeah, I need to do more of that, or I need to do less of that? What's the viewpoint going into this? Because it is a fine line, and it's a line that, in Andy Clarke and some other people's opinion, you go on the wrong side of. Is this just another fight, or are you thinking, oh yeah, actually, I got 1 million followers from that? How is it now mentally?
Yeah, that's a great point. I did an interview just before you came up on the phone, and they asked me the same thing. They was like, oh, are you going to overdo it now? I said, not really. Like I said, I haven't done anything. I've been doing this since an amateur, so for me, yeah, I'm getting a couple of likes, followers, but that's not the end goal. I'm just boxing how I box. It's my style. It what gets me in the groove, And like I said, I'm only showing what I want to show right now. I can box, I can fight, I can go forward, can go back, and hopefully Leon makes me bring something else up.
All good. I think Ben Whittaker just had a bunch of cheeseburgers delivered to
I
to
think
the
he was
room.
the kid who broke in the press conference. He tried to find my room as well.
One name that I'm always keen to throw your way, and it's a name that I don't think many people, if anyone, this week would have thrown your way. A certain Imam Khataev is he's creating himself a own little professional career as well. Have you seen much of him as a pro? He boxed on the Smith Beterbiev undercard a few months back.
I saw the little clip of that on there, and he's doing great for himself. I knew he'd do well as a pro. He's very heavy-handed, got that kind of Beterbiev style. He looks like a little baby version of him. But that type of style for me is my favourite style, and I think it showed in the Olympics. Of course, it was only 3 rounds. Pro game is different, but I just think that style's perfect. And maybe down the line, when Beterbiev maybe has relinquished all the belts, us two can get it on.
The boxing nerd in me really wants to see you box each other as a pro. Do you know what I mean?
It's a very good fight. Like I said, it's intriguing. We've got that Olympic history there, and then those little stories go on to the pro. It's great, but we both on our own paths, and if it happens, it happens.
We wait with bated breath, but I'm definitely going to try and push that over the next few years. Anyway, you mentioned there Artur Beterbiev. Of course, I don't think we have an official announcement on Beterbiev, but it looks as though it's going to be June the 1st. You just said there when Beterbiev relinquishes all the belts. Are you backing him to beat Dimitri Bivol?
You know what? I've played with this in my head, 50-50, but I just think after that last performance against Callum Smith, he's very, very clever, Beterbiev. I was just thinking he was just a one-trick pony, walks forward and bangs him out, but he's very clever, he can box, and I think it might be a tough ask for Bivol, do you know what I mean? With that Linden Arthur one, he kind of just goes through the motions, if anything. He could have really got Linden Arthur out, but he was going through the motion. Maybe he wanted the rounds, but I think if that was Beterbiev in there, it would have been like 2-round job. But great fights, what the fight fans need, what the weight division needs, and we need all the belts for one person.
Is it this next 12 months or so? I believe there's a rematch clause for that. The next 12 months or so, is it, with respect to the British title, is it about positioning yourself for when those belts become fragmented?
Yeah, for me, like you said, I wanna be world champion. That's it. A British title, European title, something like that is great. But at the end of the day, you want that shiny gold on your shoulders. But like I said, it's all about positioning yourself, and that's what I've been saying to the people around me: is get me the right routes, right rankings, right fights. And I need to be there because when they open up, I want to be there. But like I said, this division as well, it keeps getting backdated. You've got them two there, then you've got Boatsy, Yard, Craig Richards maybe, Callum Smith. You've got all those there. Then you've got the new guns like me there. So if I rush and get to there, my career will slow down. So it's all about perfect timing, so you can just roll into those fights.
Okay, and the final one from me, the main event this weekend. Now, I know that you're a big buddy of Fraser Clarke, so I'll bear that in mind, should we say. But how does it play out? I mean, it seems like everybody I speak to gives their prediction and then says but.
Yeah, there's a big but, isn't there? Yeah, well, first I'll just talk about Fraser. Good friend of mine, travelled the world with each other. We've been through many ups and downs, and when the fight got announced at the press conference release, whatever it's called, he was like, "Oh yeah, your Instagram's blowing up." I said, "Forget me, man. Look what you're doing. Headlining the O2, fighting for the belt that you wanted. This is the dream come true, man. Just go in there and do what you gotta do." But it is a very tough ask. Fabio is no idiot. He had 17 fights. He's had the gut tests as well. He's had those little rivalries with people like Adelaide. And I just think it might be a tough ask. But there's the but again, because I like Fraser and his pedigree, that should shine.
You mentioned that his pedigree. I mean, a lot has been kind of made. It's gone round and round and round about the white collar versus the amateur and what have you. But people talk about kind of pedigree, and grit is a word that's been associated to Fabio. You know Fraser. You've travelled with him, and it's you know as yourself as a former top international amateur. The grit of being away from home, living out of your suitcase, fighting in Czechoslovakia and these kind of crazy places, that instills its own kind of hardness, doesn't it?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The stuff we had to go through as amateurs, you'd go and spar people in places that people have never heard of, literally living out your suitcase and all that just to get better. But I do think the program is all about this and this, and Fabio has showed that a lot of times. Fraser hasn't had to show that yet, and he's hit the nail on the head himself. He said, the kids I was fighting didn't come to win. He's very honest. He said, this kid's coming to win, and when I do win, what can you say then? So that's why I'm rooting for him. But it's a great fight for the British fans. I'm excited to see it. I'm sure you're excited to see it, and may the best man win.
If I had to push you for a prediction.
Oh, I'll go Fraser points. I just think he'll just keep it clean, tie him up, and just get the rounds in the bank and win.
Okay, there we have it, the surgeon himself, Ben Whittaker. Before I let you go, you've grown some over the last couple of months, and certainly profile-wise, and some of my American friends have all been checking in. So what I want you to do is have a look at this very expensive camera here and tell everybody what to expect from Ben Whittaker on Sunday night.
So Sunday night, if you don't know, I do bring the glitz and glam and a whole lot of abs. The kit's going to be amazing. Ring walk's going to be amazing. And for sure, the performance is going to be amazing. So make sure you tune in and witness greatness.
There we go, Ben Whittaker. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing News.
Thank you.